Hello everyone, this is Ethan Dragon, and welcome back to another episode of Fire Emblem Heroes. So we have like 34 minutes left in the season, so let's just get going with the first replay here. This week was, I guess, even more interesting than previous weeks, but pretty usual shenanigans here. Good old end turn stuff. I was thinking about using Mass Marf and Ether Raids, but I kind of feel like I'm just not going to do that. Here they decide to hit end turn. And well, aside from the fact that he has getting debuffed by Dark Shrine, so he has 25 defense. And because he's at full HP and Chrom has low attack defense, he actually has a whopping 16 defense. So even though he has Triangle Adepts, Chrom has Deadeye, and so he's just gonna get completely obliterated. Not even close. Would have survived, of course, if there was no special. But here we have Dimitri here, who's actually going to barely survive by a whopping 1 HP. So rigged, but it's not even a heavily merged Dimitri, it's just +1, but the +1 of course matters there. And so now they're going to get the Bolt Tower damage, which definitely is going to help them take out Bramamond and company. And here, Air manages to exactly do 12 times 2. I mean, she could have done 11 damage and still kill because of how Miracle works, but it doesn't get much more rigged than this, but yeah. If you don't know, this week we're running a really bad meme of turn 1 Miracle Sothis. The most obvious problem with that is the fact that she just doesn't do any damage. Especially mine in particular, running Distant Defense 4. Literally doing no damage most of the time against a lot of units. So having Miracle doesn't really do anything. Which is a fundamental problem with this week's layout. And of course, Sothis not being ranged means I decided to put Chrom in front to see if people would snipe him down and stuff. And you'll see if people do that this week. But from here, they just clean up the match here. And that's it. Alright, here we have an interesting team to say the least. Of course, Dagger just came out recently, and she does open up the 6th slot on offense. Quite heavily merged Goonthra there. Don't see that too often. But not even leveled up at all. Good old level 1 shenanigans, and they decide to do this, and they surrender. I'll leave it as an exercise for the viewer to verify that she actually is 1 attack short from 1 round KOing Chrom. She does 28 times 2, if I did my calcs right. So I'm guessing that's why they surrendered, because they didn't want to deal with Deadeye. They don't have Bolt Tower or anything, so Chrom is definitely a problem for them, since their only melee unit is Dagger and she's level 1, so kind of a small problem there. That's my guess as to why they surrendered, but yeah, with Chrom having Deadeye up, he's just doing so much damage against Marianne. This one's also minus defense like mine. Feels bad. And here we have another team that has Dagger. I think the biggest thing with Dagger for the 6th slot is as long as you don't run into like super cav lines or turn 1 shenanigans with like return that you can't stop because of say odd recovery or whatnot. Her actual use is definitely buffing up stats. Getting the extra 5 HP is huge, and as a bonus you get res, which is definitely useful for late season in the presence of units like Bramamon, for example. Definitely do not want to be messing with units like Bramon with low res. But of course, a fundamental problem with Deadeye is if you don't do a lot of base damage, you're not gonna really do that much. So here, Crom's going to attack, and thanks to Ether, Brave Ike's able to pick up the kill. And so they're chilling at this point, but of course Bramamond is lurking in the back. Always have to be wary of him. And here they go, Brave Ike hitting end turn again. But naturally he's not going to do much damage to Solo, except with Ether. So he gets to attack. And Sullivan initiates yet again, which means Brave Ike gets to proc Ether again. And of course, that means Sullivan is not going to die. And that means Bramon can go to town, and because of Impenetrable Dark, Brave Ike cannot get 2 charges off from Brave Lucina, or a +1 charge from Brave Lucina. So he can't proc Ether on the counter, and so he's going to get taken out by Hardy bearing Bramamond. And well, that's basically it, because of course our team's basically at no HP now. And again, Selith never really does anything in Vantage range until he does. Dagger able to pick up the kill on Bramamond, and thanks to her weapon, get some dank mobility. Take out Nils here, thanks to the dragon effectiveness. But looks like they just decide to hit end turn here. Again, Sothis has no damage output, so she even straight up goes for Brave Lucina instead of going for Dagger. It's totally a great representation of how bad things are, but miracle memes are memes at the end of the day. If we really wanted to make this work, we'd probably need to get quite a few more merges on Sothis, which I kind of don't feel like investing resources to. She's not particularly great as a Dark Mythic, but she doesn't really do much. She's mostly a combat-oriented Mythic, and so on defense, it doesn't really provide too much utility. The res buff is useful, but yeah, that's basically it. Most of the time I would prefer attack on this team anyways. But here, Brave Lucina finishes off Sylvia, and GG's. And here we have the good old Brave Hector. Definitely thinking about someday investing just to +10 Brave Hector, purely for scoring reasons. Maybe I would use him in Ether rates, but I kind of don't feel like it. It's a particularly strong Brave Hector because he has Male Corrin support, which is a lot of stats, and that's basically all he's looking for, is more stats. Because of his Refine, he doesn't have armored weakness. So, as you'll see in a second here, Crom's not going to do a lot of damage to Brave Hector, and that's because, of course, besides Moltet, there's Ostian Counter, Attack Defense Solo, so it's already 66 defense. And there's Male Corrin for 71. Milla gives him 73. So that's quite a bit of defense. And even on the res side, cracking quite a bit, because that is 11 points of res from Male Corrin, and of course there's Mill as well. So he's just super tanky. And so of course, Deadeye's not going to do much here. And if this Brave Hector was around when Legendary Julia was bonus, I believe he does survive. Could be wrong on that one, it's kind of close to some degree. But here, Sothis is going to get absolutely obliterated by Brave Hector, even though she has Miracle, because she doesn't have enough bulk, and he has quite a bit of attack. I kind of don't like this particular set on Brave Hector, because if you're stacking too much attack, when you proc Ether, unless it's a super tanky unit, you're not going to heal much off of it, which can be a problem, especially if the enemy units have low HP. But yeah, like the Brave Hector, what was that, 65, 71, 80, 82 attack, like before multi-touch shenanigans, so definitely quite a bit of attack there. They can just go ahead and hit end turn here. They decide to take out Sylvia because why not? And I guess that does get him charge for Ether on the counter. This is where Ether is useful, when you can just immediately proc it when the enemy's at full HP, so you just do as much damage as you can and get the largest heal possible, which is the unit's max HP. And there you go, pretty clean sweep, nothing too special. Of course, not many people actually, the average player does not have a plus 10 Brave Hector. You could definitely build Male Corin for this. The Fortress Defense Res technically is not necessary because of multets, but it does matter when you are up against like AoE specials, so it's still relevant to creep Dark Shrine. And I'm guessing they can't unfortunately creep for Milla. She's got too much bulk. But moving on. And well, like usual, it's kind of surprising it took this long, but no Duo's hindrance. Kind of surprised it took people this long to use Duo and Harmonize heroes. Of course, we got +1 Myrrh here. And they're just going to start out by getting set up here. Nothing too special, but they did activate the Bolt Trap, and their healing tower is not the highest level in the world, so they do need to wait a bit. But that just means it's just more time to get set up, break some structures. Because the shrines are pretty much wide open for doing whatever. You can break them, but some people just don't break them for some reason because they don't want to. I don't know why break them when you can hit end turn. But here, Duolin is able to just barely pick up the kill on Legendary Chrom because his HP is not amazing, his defense is not amazing. So, and she procs Moonbow. That's the most important thing. Because without Moonbow, obviously, she is not doing as much damage. That's one of the things that makes Duolin so powerful, is the fact that her weapon comes with the built-in -1 cooldown excel, and with the built-in Brave player phase effect, that allows you to just simply proc your special in one round every time as long as the enemy doesn't have guard. And specials in this game are incredibly useful. Any unit that's trying to solo carry whatever, it's incredibly difficult to solo carry without specials. Without specials, you just need massive stats, period. And here, Sithis gets to live with Miracle for the memes. And so that activates Wings of Mercy from Bramond, but of course, Myrrh has her damage reduction, and she procced her Harmonized skill, so she's too fast for Bramond to naturally double her. And it's also important to note that her actual base speed is kind of less than 35, but there was a penalty active, so it did become a speed check. But unfortunately, Bramond too slow to double. I think there's also Dragon's Ire, or there's something I'm forgetting. I don't know. Maybe I'm just overestimating how much speed Bramond has, because I don't actually have any speed invested into him outside of merges and dragon flowers. So maybe he just was too slow to naturally double. But with that, it's just GG. Now you can just go ahead and use the Harmonized skill again, because why the heck not? It's not like Nils is actually going to do anything. He doesn't have a special or anything. Doesn't really have an attack stat, because we're going all out into HP. So he's just going to ting, and Myrrh gets to sweep here. Pretty straightforward. And while she's bonus, she's definitely going to be super solid. When she's not bonus, it's basically an HP stacking game because with her kind of damage reduction with Lilac Jade Breath, it's basically all about how much HP do you have, how much damage can you chuck back. Because not killing can definitely be a serious problem for this Mer. But moving on. And here we have a good old team of water legendary carry units, because of course it's water season. Super heavily merged up Milla. Definitely need to finish merging mine up someday. And of course, just to change fate, Neuron Zeal, large attack stats, brave weapon, Cav on top of it. It's actually kind of important that Legendary Leaf is a Cav because it allows this team to run tactics effectively. But they just hit end turn here because the fundamental problem with Deadeye is you actually have to do damage to kill. But unfortunately we only do 30 base damage. And so that means they can counter with their own Deadeye. But like for example here, if Bramon got to attack at that moment, obviously things would not have gone as well. But because they've isolated with Milla, they're safe to make this play. And funny enough, plus 31 speed on Crom. Turbo Crom actually doing things, Kappa. And they got their Bolt Tower here, which means Legendary Leaf is able to kill Self, because of course Self was running Deflect Missile, so it does matter that they went in on that specific turn to allow the Bolt Tower to inflict some damage on Self. Silthus here is going to get knocked out by Legendary Leaf, of course, because she has no damage output whatsoever. And now have to change fate. They risked the heavy trap there. They definitely really did not have much to lose here because of course Nils was not really doing any damage to whatchamacallit. Not really doing any damage to Crom. Of course Sylvia's not doing any damage to Crom. So they're just straight up free to test that heavy trap because worst case scenario they would just have to dance to pick up the kill. And so it's just GG's at this point. Nothing too special here. It just so happened that, you know, plus 10 legendary Crom against plus 10 legendary Crom is a totally fair and balanced matchup, Capo. And with that, yep, it's just cleanup time. Nothing much here, but yeah, you can see, of course we are using Deadeye, but conceptually, if Legendary Crom is up against Infantry Pulse teams, he's not very keen to tanking them. He's not that tanky. Rangreether and using a lull is definitely useful for that, but this is a pretty decently fast Crom, so not too shabby. But now we'll move on to our last replay for the week. At least I think it is. Kinda doubt we'll get another one, so this is probably the last one. So this, if you haven't figured it out already, it definitely is of the flavor of hit and run shenanigans, because the main thing is this Brave Bow, Brave Lyn. Of course, nowadays with all the shenanigan strategies that have been going on, hit and run is not as great, but when it's useful, it's useful. There's not really much to say there. When it works, it works. It gets the job done very well. And my team in particular is not fantastic. And they get Bolt Tower damage here. They do a lot of jank things. I'm guessing, I'm not entirely sure what that was all about, but maybe it had to do something with the fact that Brave Lyn did not really have much of an attack stat here, because of course, thanks to low attack defense and Rangreether, Lyn had base 36 attack, you know, 42, 46, 48 with Milla, and Peony's on range, so I don't know if that would have been a kill for Lyn. It might have been. I don't know. I didn't check. Forgot Crom's HP, so I can't say. But very linear AI allows us to pick up a couple kills here. And, well, that's probably more losses than they like to take at this point, because it's a very straightforward defense. There's nothing mind-blowing about it. It's just, do you have the stuff to deal with it, or do you not? But with that, that is all our replays for this week. Of course, we aren't in Vault this week, but we did encounter some decent teams like that +10 Brave Hector. Definitely will give a lot of teams a run for their money just because of how much stats are on that Brave Hector. But with that, of course, we are not even going to be top 10k because so many people are in the vaults that top 10k is never feasible. But we did manage to squeak by and get the best defense lift scoring tier, which is nice. And we will get our top 20k rewards. Nothing too special there. Resonant battles, of course, we're dropping. We've already seen that. Arena, last time I checked we were staying. Ended up having to build a Matthew this week just because even though I had the score range with Anna, I actually, if I could get the matches, I could stay in tier 21 using Ask Your Trio because Blessing Abuse, but not quite high enough of a score range. The scores I needed just weren't showing up, so I had to build up Matthew. Just very simple budget build on him. Literally not even refining Spy's Dagger, so he definitely could not one-shot a lot of units because of HP inflation and Arena with blessings and whatnot. But Arena Assault, you might notice from compared to last week, some items are missing, and that is because I was on an insane run where I got like 3 764s and like a 762, and then I got debated with like a 758, but it was still like a solid run. But on match 6, we just met our match. It's a really difficult match to prep for, and I had it all prepped, and then I went into the match and mistapped turn 1. And well, it was an AI manipulation based clear because it's the map, if you're familiar, the map with 2 lines of walls. It's like 2 columns of walls, and there's like 2 breakable walls, and then like 4 breakable walls in the middle. There's like a forest tile somewhere there. If you're familiar with that map, yeah, you kind of have, a lot of times you do have to manipulate the AI to cheese those wins on that map, and goofing turn 1 just meant I ran out of space, and it was just GG. There was no way to recover from it, so unfortunately, ripperonis, but what's done is done. It doesn't matter too much at the end of the day. It probably would have just been like a try for personal best high score in Arena Assault. But other than that, I think that's it, so we'll be back when the results drop in. Alright, stuff should be in now, and nothing's a surprise like usual. And, yep, this week, Reagan's bonus, so probably gonna get obliterated. I guess we're gonna use Marianne again this week. Actually, maybe we should use Legendary Crom because it's water season, so why not? Definitely probably gonna put him in. Probably just replace Julia. Nothing too special there. We're gonna get absolutely obliterated on defense again because I'm still working on the next setup, but it's going to be it's gonna be a meme still, if not memeier than the current one, so look forward to it, question mark. It's not going to be good, that's for sure. It might be a little better than what I have right now because the actual current setup is definitely a meme. But good old shenanigans. I was doing something, I dropped something on the ground, but a 444, 10 out of 10. Wouldn't do again, I don't know. But with that, that's going to be it for this episode. Thanks for watching. As always, this is Ether Dragon, and hope to see you all next time. Bye.